The mother pushed her own daughter away. Instead of checking on her, she rushed to check on the guest's child who got splashed with soup. This cruel treatment started the day Xiaoyue was born. While her father tried to calm his crying newborn, her mother only cared about putting on her makeup. She coldly said that drinking formula wouldn't kill the child. Xiaoyue was a child born from a deal. A year earlier, her father had paid off her mother's $10 million family debt on one condition: she had to marry him and have his child. Years later, Xiaoyue proudly came home with a 99 on her test. She hoped her mother would finally have a meal with her, but was brutally turned down. Her mother scornfully asked why she didn't get a perfect score. She then angrily said she had no time. The father confronted his wife. She simply reminded him that he knew exactly how that child came to be. As her parents argued, Xiaoyue could only cry and say sorry. She begged them to stop. The next second, her mother answered a phone call. Her voice instantly became sweet as she praised another girl, Zihan, for only getting 60%. She promised to take Zihan to an amusement park as a reward before leaving without looking back. The worst betrayal happened on Xiaoyue's 5th birthday. At a restaurant with her father, she saw her mother walk in with a cake and smiling for the first time. Xiaoyue's heart leaped, thinking her mother had finally come for her, but she watched in horror as her mother walked right past their table. Her mother went to celebrate with her college sweetheart and his daughter, Zihan. The cake was for another little girl. Now that same family was in their home. Her mother had brought her old love and his daughter over for a fancy dinner. Xiaoyue and her father had cooked the meal, thinking it was a family dinner. At the table, Zihan deliberately tried to upset Xiaoyue. She said the food Xiaoyue touched was dirty. When Xiaoyue tried to serve the soup she made specially for her mother, Zihan tripped her. The hot soup spilled and burned Xiaoyue's arm. Her mother immediately ran to Zihan's side. She ignored her own daughter's painful cries and yelled at her for being clumsy. As her father angrily pointed out that his own daughter was the one who was burned, the mother just threw a tube of ointment at him. In the end, Xiaoyue passed out from the shock and pain. Her father was heartbroken. Only then did he find the 3 forgiveness cards his daughter had written. She had told him that once she used up all 3 chances for her mother's love, he had to promise to take her away forever. The mother coldly forced her daughter to eat a piece of cauliflower. She ignored the child's desperate begging. The next second, her daughter collapsed and fell to the floor, passed out. Rushing to her side, the father was horrified to find his daughter's face covered in red spots from a bad allergic reaction. He yelled at his wife, demanding to know why she made their daughter eat cauliflower when she was severely allergic. But the mother didn't even know about the allergy. All she cared about was her guest, her college sweetheart, who tried to calm things down. He said his own daughter, Zihan, was just sensitive and didn't mean any harm. The mother immediately agreed. She suggested they stay the night and even offered them her own daughter's room. This was the last straw for the father. He announced he was leaving with Xiaoyue for good. His wife laughed at him, warning that if he walked out that door, he could never come back. Without a word, he carried his unconscious daughter out of the house. This family had been built on a deal. Years ago, he had paid off the woman's $10 million debt in exchange for marriage and a child. For this woman, her daughter was nothing more than the product of a deal she was forced into. In the car, Xiaoyue woke up crying. She told her father she hadn't meant to push Zihan or yell at her to get out. All she had done was refuse to give up her doll. It was the only toy her mother had ever given her. It turned out that earlier in her room, Zihan had viciously ripped the doll to pieces. Zihan had also smashed their family photo. She declared that her mother would soon become Xiaoyue's mother too. When Xiaoyue tried to stand up for her family, Zihan lied and cried to her mother. Her mother instantly took Zihan's side. Her own mother then raised her hand to hit her. The father comforted his crying daughter. He promised to take her to buy new things. On a shopping trip, Xiaoyue was thrilled. Instead of picking toys for herself, she used her own pocket money to buy a neck massager for her mother. She hoped to make her mother's pain feel better. Later, while waiting for her father, she spotted her mother at the mall. Her mother was doting on Zihan and buying her bubble tea. The sight broke Xiaoyue's heart. As they drove away, she held onto her ripped doll and a forgiveness card. It was one of 3 she had made. She used the first card to forgive her mother. She still held on to the desperate hope that her mother would show up for the parent-teacher conference. The mother slapped her own daughter across the face in the middle of a clothing store. She angrily accused the little girl Xiaoyue of deliberately ruining another child's clothes with red paint, but it was all a setup. Just moments earlier, the other girl Zihan had tried to grab a beautiful dress Xiaoyue was looking at. When Xiaoyue refused, Zihan viciously pushed her to the ground. Zihan then spilled the red paint on her own skirt and immediately burst into tears. This was not the first time the mother had chosen the other girl over her own child. When the father found them in the store, he demanded they check the security camera to prove his daughter was innocent. But his wife and her lover refused. They insisted it was just a kid's fight. The mother then destroyed the very dress Xiaoyue loved. She cut it to shreds with scissors right in front of her. She told Xiaoyue she would never wear it. Crying, Xiaoyue told her father she just wanted to go home. Finally having seen enough, the father grabbed his daughter to leave. As he carried his weeping daughter away, Xiaoyue looked back at her mother, one last time. She pulled out the last of her 3 Forgive Mommy cards. It was a final token of a hope she had held onto through all the pain. In a heartbreaking moment, she tore it into tiny pieces and let them fall to the floor. She had finally given up on her mother's love. A man suddenly stormed the stage during the school assembly. He held a knife to a little girl's throat. Her father could only watch in terror, begging the man to let his daughter go. But this was all a case of mistaken identity. It turned out that just moments before, this little girl, Xian, had been sitting happily with her father and the beautiful woman he had just hired. The woman was hired to play her mother for the day. The real tragedy was happening for another girl, Xiaoyue. She sat alone, watching her own mother pretend to be part of someone else's family. Xiaoyue's father had promised her that her mother would finally come to the parent-teacher meeting. She had been so excited to finally show her classmates that she was not a child without a mother. But when other kids cruelly made fun of her, calling her a liar, her hope began to fade. Just then, a stunning woman in a red dress walked in. Xiaoyue's heart jumped. She cried out for her mommy and waved with all her might. But the woman got a text from another man, Zihan's father. His own wife was busy playing cards and couldn't be bothered to come. He begged the woman to pretend to be his daughter's mom so the girl wouldn't be embarrassed. Without a second thought for her own daughter, the woman agreed. Xiaoyue watched in silent devastation as her mother sat down with the other family. The final blow came when the teacher called Xian's mother to the stage to give a speech. As the woman spoke about the importance of parental love, the crazed man attacked. He screamed at Zihan's father. He accused him of getting his wife pregnant and stealing all his money, leaving him with nothing. But as he held the knife to the terrified girl, the woman on stage shouted the horrifying truth. She yelled that he had the wrong girl and that Xian was not his daughter. She pointed out that Xiaoyue was his real target. The kidnapper turned and saw Xiaoyue. In the chaos that followed, he grabbed Xiaoyue instead. Just as he lunged, another man flew through the crowd. It was Xiaoyue's real father. He fiercely fought the attacker. He protected his daughter with his own body until the man was held down. Her father picked her up and carried her away. He left the woman standing alone on the stage, finally facing the consequences of her choice. After his daughter was attacked, the man could no longer stand his wife's neglect. He had already signed the divorce papers. He was ready to leave her and start a new life with his daughter Xiaoyue. But he didn't know his plan would soon go up in smoke. As he packed their bags and poured gasoline all over the bed, his wife was desperately trying to call him. She had just heard on the news that a fire had broken out at the villa where her husband and daughter were staying. Terrified, she sped toward the villa. As she arrived, she saw the building engulfed in flames. She screamed her daughter's name, her heart pounding with fear. The wife arrived at the empty apartment. She found only the signed divorce papers on the sofa. Her husband had asked if she couldn't even be bothered to look at what she signed. But she had been too busy caring for another man's child to notice her own family was falling apart. Now, standing alone in the empty room, she finally realized the cost of her choices. But just as the father was about to leave forever, the taxi driver asked if the little girl would miss her mommy. The little girl, with tears streaming down her face, looked at him and said nothing. At that moment, the father knew he couldn't just run away. They had to face what had happened. Her heart broken, the little girl told her father she never wanted to see her mother again. Her father, full of guilt for failing to protect her, promised to take his daughter and disappear forever. The other man, Pai, had taken his own daughter to a rooftop, preparing to jump. He called the mother, his voice full of despair. He cried that Xian's mother had betrayed him and he had lost his job. He claimed she had brought this disaster on him. He said he was a sinner who didn't deserve to live. The mother rushed to the rooftop, begging him not to do anything stupid. Holding his daughter tight, Akai said they were homeless and thanked her for her kindness. He whispered goodbye and stepped toward the edge. She screamed for him to wait. She told him he wasn't homeless and that he could live with her. She promised no one would kick him out. The woman stared in horror at the broken picture on the floor. It was her family photo, a picture her own daughter treasured, now torn to pieces. She then realized all of her daughter's favorite toys and clothes were gone. Her daughter had run away. But just as this nightmare began, a new one walked through her door. It was her so-called friend bringing his own daughter to move in. The man's daughter immediately begged to stay in the now empty room. She said she had never slept in such a comfortable bed. She said she just wanted to know what a real home felt like. Feeling sorry for her, the woman agreed they could stay for a couple of days. She warned them they would have to leave when her own daughter came back. But she didn't know this man was no friend. He watched her with a creepy grin. He vowed that one day he would make her give in and he would become the true master of that house. She sent him a message. The response she got sent a chill down her spine. Her husband had blocked her. He had cut off all contact, leaving her completely alone to face the scheming man now living under her roof. The guest's daughter threw a fit, trashing the living room while screaming at her phone. When the woman told her to clean up, the girl refused. She yelled that it was the woman's job to clean up after her. Her father rushed in and pretended to tell her off, only to make things worse. The homeowner stood frozen in silent anger as her perfect life fell apart around her.